We'll wait till our secretary's ready. We're ready? We're on?
You
Okay.
guys are on.
We got kind of an emergency. Something dropped out.
Okay.
Are you in?
Yeah.
All right, so Bruce, me, you, and another guy.
I'd like to call the Addison Township Zoning Board of Appeals for August 8th to order. Had a roll call of the board members.
Trevor Hayward.
Here.
Tony Spina.
Here.
Eric Sen.
Here.
Vice Chair Smith.
Here.
Chair DeWitt.
Here.
Phil Marshall.
Here. I forgot the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's do it now.
I think I should have been first, wouldn't it?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My script is messed up. Okay. Okay, we have the roll call, so let's, approval of our agenda.
I so move as printed.
Second.
And then, so voice vote?
Yeah.
All approved, all in favor? Say aye. Say
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Let's see, next would be approval of the April 11th, 2019 minutes. Any comments, corrections?
I make a motion that we approve as presented.
Second.
Any comments or anything? So I guess we have a voice vote on that?
No.
No? Okay, roll call?
Trevor Hayward.
Yes.
Tony Spina.
Yes.
Eric Sen.
Yes.
Philip Marshall. Alternate. Chair DeWitt.
Yes.
Vice Chair Smith.
Yes.
The next thing on the agenda was, will be a public hearing for tonight. For case number 19-3, the applicant is John and Rachel, is it Kotowitz?
Katavich.
I'm gonna butcher that a few more
That's
times,
okay.
I'm sure.
That's okay.
The parcel address is 4916 Lake George Road, Leonard, Michigan, 48367. Parcel ID is 0509-100.013. The parcel size is estimated at 21.09 acres. The zoning is suburban farms. And the applicant seeks a dimensional variance from the Township of Addison Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, Addison Township zoning ordinance. The applicant requests a dimensional variance for the placement of a 64 by 56 by 25.8 foot accessory structure completely in the front yard. And the ordinance at issue is 4.21.2B. Do I need to read that into the record? So. Okay. This is our public hearing for the case. Mr.
Katavich.
Kakata, could you confirm this is the variance that you're asking for?
Yes.
Okay. Could you briefly, basically you need to make your case to the board tonight, why you need this variance, and if you could explain, the details and why you need it and things like that.
Do I need to stand up?
Yeah, you can.
Just it's the odd shape of the property. It's in an L. I guess, I don't know if you guys have the paperwork on that, but just the odd shape, the wetlands, the terrain of the property, the way he built the house. You know, the front of the house faces to the south, but with the driveway coming in from the west, you guys say the west side of my house is the front of my house, which really it isn't. It's the side of my garage. So it just makes more sense to have my pole barn on the side of my house where my garage is than put it anywhere different. I don't really know how else to explain that, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, we do have all your application.
Here's a good picture of it right here.
Yeah.
So,
You can see the drive, I sit 1,500 feet back off the road. I mean, I got a video of me driving up the driveway. I mean, it's a long driveway. It's not visible from any of the houses surrounding me. None of the neighbors have an issue with it. I've talked to most of the neighbors other than but one of the new neighbors. Nobody really seems to have a problem with me building it where I'm asking to build it. I know the gentleman that built the house came in front of the board back in '99 and asked for the same variance, and someone didn't like it because they didn't want to look at a pole barn, I guess, but I guess they just didn't really want him to build there as well either, so.
Could
At the
you
time.
clarify that? So the previous owner came to the board
Yes.
for permission or
Yep.
or for a variance?
Back in '99.
And it was denied in '99?
He was denied because one of the neighbors opposed it, yeah.
Okay.
I've talked to, like I said, talked to the neighbors, nobody seems to have a problem with it. Even my new neighbor, the business next to me doesn't have a problem. They're the one that would be the closest probably to it, and it's still about 200 feet from his property line, would be the back of my building that I proposed to build.
That would be the property directly west of you?
Yes,
Is it the rabbit farm?
the rabbit farm, correct, yeah.
Which one's the rabbit farm on?
It's the one directly west.
It's directly west of,
This one?
It's right in the
corner of the
L.
L. The L lot, right in the corner.
So you're basically about 1,000 feet plus or minus
Um,
from the road to the structure?
Taking the measurements, the way that the survey, yeah, but I thought it was more about 1,500 feet, but looking at the Kennedy surveying, their survey and doing their measurement, it seems to be around 1,100 to 1,200, but it's long. I know it's long. I've had a lot of work done to the driveway before, and that's what they're saying it is, around 1,500 feet, so.
So, and then just, I really can't tell from this picture, it looks like your house actually faces
South.
south,
Yes. Yeah,
with Lake George on the west of you.
yeah, so that, you guys consider the west side of my house, the front of my house.
Because of the frontage of the lot.
Because of the frontage of the lot, but it, with the odd shape, you know, the driveway comes back and then it L's, it's a big L back there. So it's just a weird placement of the house on the piece of property. I don't know.
Well, talking about the property, you've owned it only like a month or two.
No, I've owned it 7 years. I've been there 7 years.
Haven't
Yep.
you? The quit claim deed that was in our package said you bought it like a month or two ago.
I just refinanced back in 2012, I think, when I purchased the property. I own another house, and my mom and dad had co-signed for me, so I could afford
Yeah.
2 houses till I sold my other house. And I just did a quick claim deed to take them off of the mortgage, so they weren't on my mortgage anymore. We just did that just a few months ago.
Yeah, a couple of months ago.
Yeah. But I've been.
So they didn't sell it to you?
No, no. They just co-signed for the house when I
It
bought it.
doesn't look like it was a sale from them to you. I didn't know if the parents or grandparents or,
No, that's my parents, no, but there was no sale. So
Okay.
I don't know how they wrote it up, they just said
they
this is
never
how.
owned it, they just had,
Right, they just had
so
a,
they put their claim to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's, there's some information here about wetlands.
yeah, part of the property is wet. And a lot of water drains different directions back there. I really had to build the driveway up because, with gravel and stuff, because of all the wetlands. I know the neighbor just to the south of me just built, I mean, he went through, I don't know, 1,300 feet of wetland to build this driveway.
He's got a long driveway too.
Yeah, and he went right through the middle of the swamp, so.
I don't know about you gentlemen, but my topo map, so there's 1,000, there's 1080. I've only had I have a 1090 and a 1080.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
The elevation?
The
Oh,
elevation.
Yeah,
down.
for the elevation. So honestly, I haven't walked it personally, but we usually like to hear the applicant, get a little more familiar where we're gonna look when we go out there to take a look, and just give a heads up and ask to make sure it's okay to come out, take a look at it.
Sure. We won't know tonight, I guess. Is that? I don't know how this works. So.
Yeah, typically we've always heard the case, did our homework. There may be things that you, the applicant, may have also to bring to light for the second meeting.
Okay.
Gives us a chance to take a look at it and see if we have any other findings or questions for the final meeting to render a decision, deliberate on the second meeting. So some of them seem simple, cut and dry. You could do it in the first meeting, but in the end,
Is there something that you see that it wouldn't be a good spot, like on the pictures? Or?
well, that's what, so we're trying, as a board, we want to look at why can't it go somewhere else?
Okay.
I mean, obviously, and you had your reasons, and they're good reasons. And if we can find a physical feature, or wetland feature, or something that says, yeah, this is pretty much it right here.
It just kind of blocks off a lot when anything to the west of the house and to the south, I really can't build there because you guys say it's kind of the front of the house. And I don't really want to, I mean, I could build straight to the south of it, but I don't want to walk out my front door and look at a big building in front of my, it's just not going to look right, you know?
Well, it would help us, I think, because it's somewhere all of us will end up.
I mean,
going out and
do you
taking
guys
a
want to
look.
see a video of me driving up the driveway and it's kind of like shows the house?
No.
Thanks.
Okay.
But before the next meeting, I for certain will come out and take a look. It
Can
would
we-
be helpful if you could put a stake in the corners of where you are
Okay.
proposing the building to be, just nothing fancy, just
Okay.
branches or something to show. where the
Okay.
Can
corners
we give
are.
you a courtesy call, you
Yeah.
or your wife,
Yep.
on the number
Yep,
on the
yep.
application?
Yep, just give me
We'll
a call.
definitely do that before we go out.
Will you all come together or
No.
be just different
It'll
times?
be different times.
Okay.
So would you, oh, go ahead.
Where is it, I'm not understanding, are you wanting to build this to the south of your house or to the west?
West.
Okay.
Straight to
Now-
the west, right out those concrete paths.
Now, but if you want it in front of the house,
It is gonna approach to the south of the house, front of the line, just a little bit, yeah.
if, if there's any way that you could set it back, in back of the house,
The only downfall is all the water runs that way.
Well,
Like-
let's back up.
That,
To be legal, I believe he just needs to be in line with the front plane of the house.
Right, behind that.
So you don't need to go in the backyard necessarily, but
So I'm
this is
breaking
a little sketchy here. This is a big scale and pretty
Right.
sketchy, but if you can just get the front of that building in line with the front of your house on the west side.
I guess it's,
I mean, you're
guess
not
I'm
that- looking at what
Yeah,
I
I'm looking
have,
at
you're not
about
that
like
far
20
off.
feet, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be about 20 feet off, which isn't a whole bunch. And the 20 feet that it probably is it gonna be like an overhang wing?
Oh, wait,
Just a storage
I'm
trailer.
sorry.
No,
That's not right.
no.
I see why, because your road is to the west, so
yeah,
it
I
has
was
to
gonna
go.
say, where
Yeah.
he's building is already, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Technically
not
in front of
ordinance,
it, yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
The house is facing south. The side of the house is facing, is actually considered the front of the house.
Right.
On the
but-
west side.
Because it's on the front, Lake George.
Whatever
Yeah.
it is, yeah.
So no matter where he puts the house, on the side of the house.
Right.
West side of the house.
It's
It doesn't
gonna
matter.
be in violation of the
Yeah,
ordinance.
I can put it anywhere on that far side.
Whether you line it up with the house or not. it
And then,
really
then
doesn't
on
matter.
the east side of my house, I have my
You can
septic
move it
field
anywhere and you're-
and my geothermal field are over
It's
there.
just how it was.
Yeah.
See, the way they wrote the
Correct.
ordinance, and
Right.
it sometimes is contrary to some, I guess I'll say common sense in a way, because
Yeah.
the front of your house is facing south, but they consider the road the front of the house,
Right.
even though the house is facing a different road.
Right, it just doesn't make sense to me either, but, and I don't do this a lot, so this is new to me, so.
And so what we're looking for is we're looking for reasons and/or an explanation from you why you need to build the pole barn there, what the hardship is, what are the exceptions to what exceptions can you bring to us that would satisfy give us enough reason to justify and approve the variance.
Well, like you said, on the west side of the house, I can't build it anywhere. The south side of the house, I don't, like I said again, it's just a weird spot. You would build a pole barn, you'd walk out the front of your house and look at a big building. Just wouldn't look right. In the east side of my property, I have my big septic field And then I put a geo field in for heat back there to try to be more economically. And the guy said you can build over, but if you ever have a problem, then you can't get to it. So it's something that
So
was
you
a
have
big
geo-
investment that I don't really want to have to mess up.
You have geothermal heat?
Yeah. Yep. I'm looking at hopefully getting solar panels in the future just to try to, kind of go green back there. So.
And it looks like behind the house, to comply with the non-front building, behind it, you would be going over the well, or there's a well.
There's a
that comes into
well,
play.
I'd be going over the well, and then it's just like a huge gradual slope back into the neighbors, so.
It would,
just wouldn't-
it would comply if it was just to the south of the septic. Where
Well, that's right over my geofield.
And that's a geofield
And
there.
it's 60 by 100 hole they dug. It's a huge hole they dug in my yard.
Can-
So it's,
Can we have you mark that up?
the
for
geo,
us to- I have the septic, a little square says septic
I didn't even think to put the geofield on it, but it's just to the south, that whole area to the south of it.
from the septic.
From the septic down to the edge of the woods, yeah. It's 60 by 100 right there. It's all open grass.
You see where he's talking?
Now, that property and
Yeah.
south of your septic,
So
is that level or is that,
it is level where the geofield is. Well, it got leveled because of them putting the field in, yeah.
no, I'm not talking, I'm talking about south of your field.
Of the geofield,
No, your septic field.
yes, that's where the
That's-
geofield is. The geothermal field is just south of that. In that big grass area. That whole east side of the house is either geofield or septic field. That's what the whole thing is.
There's a geofield.
You know, that's what I say, if you build it right in here,
Yeah.
you'd be behind the front of the house, which they're considered the front of the house here.
There's a geofield. And Mr. Kotovich, would you say the neighbors to the north of you are around 200 feet? Is that to the their property line?
From my house,
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be 200 to 300, yep. I mean, I didn't measure it off, but, walk it off, but yeah. I mean, you can't see any house back there. When the leaves all fall, you can kind of see silhouettes here and there, or light on in the winter. It's very remote, secluded back there, so.
Okay, one other thing I'd like the township building inspector to confirm is that the size of this building, the footprint, is within the limits for suburban farm zoning.
Doug did tell me, yes, it was.
It was,
Yep.
because
Mr. Chairman, could I kind of summarize what I thought I heard for the record? So,
Sure.
so it'll be on record as to what you presented today. So you're presenting a hardship case for the location of this because of the shape of the land, because you got wetland. You have septic and you have the geo field on the east side. You have well on the north side. And yeah, and to the south in front of the house, it would not be visually for
Yeah, just-
future sale or whatever. Yeah,
And then, I'm sorry, did you mention the topography
and the topography, yeah,
a little bit there?
you got some wetland, but it looks like it's fairly level where the house is, but anywhere else it goes down.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
it kind of looks like the best place to meet for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only place I can really almost meet in a sense.
Okay, that's pretty much what
Ghost.
I think I heard.
Is there anything you want to add to that?
I don't know of anything else. I mean, if I thought of something else, I would.
How about your power? Is it overhead or?
It's overhead coming up the driveway, then it goes under to one of those big green
Pedestals?
Yeah, and then shoots to the house underground. Yep.
And Do we know, do you know where that goes? It goes
Yep.
A to B
Yep.
from the pedestal of your house?
The only other comment I would make is due to the placement of the house, there's two in front of the house here. One legally, the front of the house going back to Lake George, right? Just make sure you understand. And then from the homeowner's objective, is in front of the house is south of his house.
Yeah.
So, we have to go with the legal end of the front of the house.
Yeah, legal is,
Legal.
The west side of his house
And that's
is the
where
front
the
of his
variance
house.
is coming in.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify that.
This is rated suburban farms. What is the acreage?
Two.
No, I mean, okay, what is 5 acres rated?
Rural estates. Rural estates.
Okay, because I thought after a certain amount of acreage, you're changed to suburban farms. That rule didn't apply where he could put that pole barn.
you could have 100-acre piece of suburban farms, but if you start cutting it up, you can't go any lower than 2 acres.
Right, but what I'm saying is he's got 21 acres.
But
And I thought 20 acres was the cutoff, or if you could build in front of the house with that suburban farms rating.
No.
Okay.
No, on the bigger parcels, you're able to do things that you can't do on smaller parcels.
Right.
But this is different because you have a fairly large parcel, 21 acres, but you zone 2 acres. So you really,
it is.
suburban farms. I mean, your zoning is suburban farms, which is a 2 acre minimum.
Right.
Minimum.
Okay.
You're well past that.
As long
But
as we're talking about that,
You're still bound by that 2 acre requirement.
is this laid out in any way that in the future it could be cut off?
Sure.
Not back by the house, you couldn't. The only place you could cut is coming up the driveway, really.
Well, that's what we're getting at though.
Yeah.
We allow a building, if per se we allow a building to build somewhere, and then you want to start cutting off
2 acre pieces.
2 acre pieces.
Yeah, I'm not looking to do
I
that.
don't think-
Well,
Yeah,
you're
I'm not,
looking
yeah,
to-
the next.
The next owner, the
The
next
next
owner.
You're not looking to, but you just said when somebody else built the house, they screwed up to start with, so what you
Well-
do and what they do is 2 different things too.
Right.
I think the 1-to-4 ratio wouldn't allow that split.
It wouldn't allow a
I
split?
don't think it would.
You don't think it would?
Well,
All
and
right.
it needs road frontage, there are a lot of
That's what I'm
other
getting at.
requirements
One thing.
Right.
before you split, but at least it's
Road
something.
frontage here.
Yeah, it is, it should be
Where would
considered.
you split that?
If this is 400 feet.
I never
this has
thought
to
I'd
be
have that
over
big of a
100
problem
feet
with.
To do any kind of splits.
Well, not right, 100
Unless you put
feet,
them around.
Addison Township is 200 feet of road frontage.
Possible too.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can put in a road right
Well, I don't know
there.
if it is actually.
Um,
300.
That may not be reasonable, but could
do we,
be done.
What, oh, make the driveway a private drive?
No, road, proper
Road.
class
Okay.
C gravel road. And then you can run split sideways out there.
What's the frontage on Lake George? I can't hardly read that.
It's like
390
300
something?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But if you put in a 60-foot road, then you got,
So it's not splittable
you
anyway.
could have 2 acre parcel. It's on the big house back.
What happened to our topo maps? They seem to gotten blurred and not as good as they were before.
Yeah.
Or was like that.
We got these maps are on 10-foot intervals. You can also get 5-foot and 2-foot from Logan County. This shows 1090, 1085, so 5-foot increments. They also make 2-foot maps. Freaky.
Can I ask, what is the purpose of this building gonna be?
Storage, like my boat, the kids' toys,
Okay, I
my
didn't know if
truck.
it's gonna be for livestock.
No no livestock, no, just something to keep my, I guess my toys dry and out of the weather. So my wife's got a big horse trailer because she works at a facility. We keep the trailer at the house, but no animals at all at the house. Nope.
How tall are those overhead doors?
One is 14 and I think the other one's 12.
Okay.
Just in case I got one tall in case I ever get like a motorhome or something I can park inside.
Okay.
And Doug said the height is okay?
The height is 16 foot. I don't know why they calculated out the 25.6, but the height walls are 16. Yeah, he said it fits
The
everything.
sidewalls, but then you have the peak.
The peak, yeah, that's what I
And
figured.
that's the top.
Yeah. But when I talked to Doug, yeah, he said the size, dimensions, everything was okay. So he said he wishes he could have approved it, but because of the zoning and how it is, he just, it looked like a good place, but he couldn't do anything. I had to come see him, so.
Do we have any other questions?
I'm good.
Not that it'll last long, but you need it officially,
Oh, yeah.
okay?
Again,
Yeah. Well, we gotta start.
Well, okay, this is also the date and time for a public hearing. It is now, what is it, 6:25? And I'd like to note for the record, there is no other public here that I know of. So we'll, I guess, open and close it a minute apart.
would anybody like to speak?
That's right, you say they can speak, and if you hear none, you close it.
So I won't hear anything until next meeting. I'll come to the next
Yes.
meeting, is what you're saying?
Yeah, you'll be hearing for some or all of us individually.
Okay.
Is there any public here that wants to comment on this application? Hearing nothing, we'll close the public hearing at 6:26. Okay. You have nothing else you want to add? Do the members of the board have any other comments?
No.
And again, this is just our hearing date where you make your argument and we listen for public comments. And next month, at our September 12th meeting, we'll also have our deliberation and make a decision.
Okay.
I guess our next agenda item.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome to stay.
Maybe I'll say, maybe about something.
You ain't gonna hear about it,
2 more minutes.
because you're the next thing on the docket.
Uh-oh.
Okay. The next item on the agenda would be correspondence received by the board members.
Nope.
I'm not receiving anything. Okay. Zoning board reports.
So the board's quite quiet right now, everything's in order.
Okay. That's, and we're talking the planning commission, the same.
Same thing.
Okay. All right, now members of the audience are welcome to make comments
On anything.
on anything. I see nobody here to make that, or no
Well,
one's
it's
here.
nice to see
You can make a comment.
I got nothing other than,
Okay.
Okay. And so I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll support.
All approved?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's closed.
Go.